Damaso back at it again, this time entering the 512 gigabyte RetroPie size images. And the cool thing about him is he had some hacks. He's got a nice little eclectic collection. That's really going to be your biggest difference. It is on a Supreme Team base image, and you may be able to get this on a 400 gig, but more likely a 512. And be warned, it is going to be overclocked at 2 gigahertz to start. So you're probably going to want a case, as I found out later in this video. All that being said, let's go ahead and check this one out. He's been around the scene for a while. He makes good images. Let's jump into it. All right, Damaso bringing out his Nostalgia Trip V2. I'm going to call this one a 512 gigabyte image, even though it's clocked right around the 400 gigabyte. This is on an older Supreme Team, but still very new Beta 4, so it's not going to have the USB hard drive bootable script enabled on it yet. You just need to update the firmware to do that, but just note that you won't be able to boot it directly on a hard drive to start. You're going to have to change some things first. As far as all games, let's check that out. But so far, what I'm liking about it that's different about some other images out there is it has a very wide selection, including a very large Sega Saturn collection. Other thing being, this guy's dropping images fairly regularly, so a lot of this stuff is going to be, gone through, Beats of Rage, Daphne, Naomi, Atomic Wave, some of these, systems that we're only seeing on the Raspberry Pi 4, and they're all set up now, which is nice to see. Being on the Supreme Team base will give you a lot of really great, so all games, just 9,258. But note that there's not like a ton of Commodore 64 games or a ton of Amiga games on here. You can absolutely inflate that all games number very, very easily. PlayStation games, 268. PSP games, 39. Remember, I saw a Sega Saturn. It's got to be close to about 40 or so. And then Naomi, 30. Atomic Wave, 17. All the Neo Geos, 1,200 arcade games. 129 Dreamcast, 51 Sega Saturn. So that's where a lot of your space is on these games. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. 3DO. You got some Star Wars Rebel Assault, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. You do have video snaps. You got 3 PCFX games, 5 Super Graphics games. TurboGrafx 16, you have 96. CD-ROM, you have 24. And PC Engine, you have 274. That's a lot. Neo Geo Pocket, 37. Neo Geo CD, you got 92. So, I do trust everything that's going on here. It does come pre-overclocked, which is fascinating. It's only clocked at 2 gigahertz, so just make sure you have some heat sinks on your Pi. Other than that, it should be fine. If you want to set the clock stock, it's very easy. You could just go to your option menu here in a second. So like Virtual Boy's on here, 24. Game Boy Advance, the entire collection, 1,000. Game Boy Color, the entire collection. Game Boy, the entire collection. Nintendo 64, about half. Which I can understand. I mean, there's some games that just don't run that great still. But as you can see, a lot. Oh, see, you can see my Pi's overheating because I actually have this in a Pi right now that I don't actually have it in a case. I have this in an open Pi right now. So it's cool that we're getting that thermal here. It's also very hot out today. Today's a heat wave in California. We're at like 100 degrees. Let me go through this game and then I'm going to reboot this in a different Raspberry Pi, one that has a case. Satellaview, we got 20. Super Nintendo hacks, 24. That's something I like about Damaso is he does give hacks. There actually are some really fun little hacks you can play on this thing. And for those of you concerned about the thermaling, it's not a big deal, especially because I'm not playing any games right now. Should be fine. Or Super Nintendo CD, they have better sound tracks, things like that. Super Nintendo 781, Super Famicom 148, Nintendo Hack 79, NES almost all of them, Family Disk System 140, Family Computer System 108, Game & Watch 55, that's pretty much all of them. Atari 7800, 55, no 5000 series. 2600, you got close to 500. Beats of Rage, you got 209, Jesus. Oh, I thought the Pi crashed for a second there. Daphne, you have 10. Quite a big Daphne collection. Naomi, you got 30. Thomas Wade, you have 17. Neo Geo got 141. And then the arcade set. I mean, I'm sure it's a decent arcade set. X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Gonna have the Simpsons. Gonna have your Battletoads, your Street Fighters, your Tetris, no matter JoJo's, your CPS 1, 2, and 3 games. It should have all that stuff all set up for you. Dreamcast, 129, so big Dreamcast collection. I think a lot of people are going to ask me, like, what's the difference between this and the Virtual Man's image? And I think, you know, for those of you that just want to download a 512 gigabyte image, well, first of all, it's only 400 gigabytes. The V-Man image is close to 500. So you're going to download 100 less gigabytes. So that's, I think, a lot of people out there that download size. The other thing is Virtual Man has those ROM packs where you can add a hard drive and things like that. So some people are going to be more interested in that add-on. If you're not interested in that add-on and you just want everything pre-installed, pre-configured, then this might be it. Speaking of Dreamcast, you may need to change your controls for Dreamcast. Just keep that in mind. Depending on whether these are using Redream or a different emulator, you can either do that in the RetroPie setup or you can do that via the emulator itself. So Sega Saturn, like I said, there's quite a big collection of Sega Saturn games on this image. So let's just do a fast scroll here. Okay, I think we missed some Gex. Okay. Sega CD 100. Wow, that's a lot of Sega CD games. Sega 32X 30, Game Gear 248. Sega Genesis Hacks, again, fun games to try out. Sega Genesis 760, Sega Master System 256, Sega SG 1066, PSP Minis 41, PSP 39. Okay. And again, like I said, look at these games. Like, these are not games you see on every other image. So that's why I said something I might look at would be what PSP games are on here, what Dreamcast games are on here, what Sega Saturn games are on here. Because a lot of people like to get this and just not do anything, just boot it up and play. So I think the game selection will be a big deciding matter. 268 PlayStation games, so a lot here. Let's go through the PlayStation game really quick. So a lot of PlayStation games. It's funny though, I'll go through these collections and then somebody in the comments will always say, oh, it's missing this one game. You know? So if you must see, we'll do it. Does have Pepsi Man. Another game I get a lot of requests for is Donald Duck's racing game, Quackers. Then like Silent Hill, a couple other games. Does have Final Fantasy. Does have Doom, Driver, Chrono Cross, Contra, Bloody Roar 2. Cool. And we're back at 3DO. So let's go ahead and, well, before we jump into just a gameplay, I just want to show you the, this is why it's got all the bells and the whistles. As far as themes, you got quite a few themes. You also have the Arcade 1-Up themes pre-installed. You got a few themes. You can always add some more. And then as far as the boot up video, it is pretty stock there. It's the same video every time you boot up. It's like a little retro video with a Blue Monday remix. So this does have the Supreme Team's loading screens, which then transfers into a loading photo. Then we have the bezels here as well. Looks like Damaso has his own little custom bezels here. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's great for his own images, but... And you can see it doesn't quite fit this game completely either. I guess you could change the bezels here. Look at the other on-screen overlays that you can choose from. I guess you could just change it, huh? Sega Saturn would be an S for Sega. And there we go, Sega Saturn. Let's try that. There we go. I like that. I guess actually the Damaso one was good because it was stretched out too much. Bananas. First place. Alright, so let's go ahead and give this image a review while I'm playing this game. Oh, this looks really good. Let's hit select really quick, actually. What kind of game settings are we on here? That's why. Frame skipping's on 3. 2x hardware, though. Looks good, especially for, especially for full screen. It's running, you get a little bit of frame. Whoa. Whoa. I'm not used to this game, how their geometry works here. Not the geometry, but the analog sticks. It's like it really goes sideways. So final thoughts on this image. Really great stuff. Like Damaso killed it. Really great image. You know, there's a few image creators out there, Virtual Man, Damaso, Wolfanos. Supreme Team's been producing a lot of stuff. A lot of people say, oh, this person stole my stuff, or I came out with it first. I don't want to get into any of that. What I do want to say, though, is they're obviously all producing really good stuff. And, it's becoming more and more muddled as far as any kind of massive features that you get between one versus the other. They all boot great. They're all running on really good software. They have some really great collections. And that's really where the difference is in the collection of games, as well as there is some different communities behind the two builds. But as far as the average user, I think your biggest difference is going to be from the, customization, from the sound and the intro and then the collections and then the game choices. I really think that's going to be the big one, unless you're after like certain features that you can only get on one. Like for example, with the Virtual Man, you can only get the, those large collections that are plug and play. You could probably get them to work on this, but to truly be plug and play, the other way around. So as far as grades, I'm just gonna give this one an A. I ever since I started the grading system, it was pretty obvious. Some images just weren't made very well, but as I mentioned, the images coming out right now are just fantastic, really, really well made. So I mentioned the little differences, and that's really it. I really, really like it. The only things I would really change on this would be like getting rid of a lot of the Damaso stuff, and don't take that personally, Damaso, but anybody who slapped their name all over their image, it's that now it's not my image. I'm playing somebody else's image. But then again, they did do the work, right? So I understand why they do it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, as much as most people are downloading it for their own, right? It's their image, whether or not you built it or not. But always support your creators if you can. You know, no denying that. But look at this full screen. Looks good. So anyways, that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.